I want to bring in Hazel Willow. Hazel lives in Maine and relies on SNAP food benefits. Hi, Hazel, it's so kind of you to come on the program. And I know this isn't easy to talk about, but I just wonder, before we get to the news today, can you help people understand you're a mom, what these last days and weeks have been like for you?
Hi, Chris. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, it's difficult to be vulnerable about this stuff because in society, we're not supposed to talk about the hardships we face. And I haven't had SNAP benefits. Like, I ran out 2 weeks ago. So it's been really difficult because I already didn't have enough. I found out last month that I was getting $140 in SNAP benefits because I was a participant in LIHEAP, a program that I didn't know qualified me, and then I fell off of them. So I went from having $536 of SNAP benefits to $396. So I've been out for a while. I have just kind of been taking it moment by moment, kind of how I've had to do for a long time. And I just try to stay focused on my kiddo and what he needs. And I've been asking our support services for information about different food pantries. There's a number of them, and there's all different kinds and times, but it can be really overwhelming. And I also have PTSD, and it makes it really difficult for me to go out in the world. And so it's not just finding out where the food pantries are, it's how do they work, how many people will be there, do I need to get a support person to go with me? Using a food pantry hasn't gotten easier in the past almost 4 years since I had to start accessing them. I thought it would, but I have to swallow my pride every time, and try to stay focused on being able to meet my child's needs.
I do wonder, I know that you were brought up in a middle-class family. You even told our booking producer that you volunteered at a food bank when you were in high school. So emotionally, and I know you're trying to be strong for your son, who I think is 7 now. And what is that moment even like when you have to start going to a food bank when you used to volunteer at one?
Thanks for asking. I try to tell myself that I'm just using it temporarily, that I'm accessing a support that's meant to be there, but I had all of my needs met as a teen. I was doing it for part of my community service for my confirmation requirement. And so it was very much like, look at me being a good person in my community, which I was, but I don't think I understood what it meant, how much it helped, and also how difficult it is. I have a gluten allergy, so that makes it difficult to access the food pantry, and also, like, weirdly, you feel ungrateful because you don't always have the ability to eat what's available. And so, it's again something I'll do because I have to, and I have and will always move heaven and earth to take care of my child and get his needs met. I'm the adult, so it's my responsibility to move through the discomfort of these times. But it is uncomfortable.
How's he doing, Hazel? Does he have an idea what's going on?
I've chosen not to tell him yet. I've intermittently, introduced him to the supports that we're on so that he grows up knowing that they're there, that they're meant to be used. I want to help destigmatize it. I think he might be aware because the school sent home some literature about food security and supports. Different people have offered to him. They said, like, hey, if you or your mom need anything, let us know. We can help you with food. But, he's got a high ACE score, adverse childhood experience score. So he doesn't need the extra worry. If it becomes an issue, I'll raise it up to him. But, right now in his world, it's just, we can't buy the fun treats. Yeah.
So we got this new information just literally less than half an hour ago, saying that the USDA, the Trump administration, has said that it will at least partially pay for SNAP food benefits this month. Are you breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief? Are you still nervous because there's so much uncertainty surrounding exactly what that might mean for you and, frankly, all of the 42 million people who are waiting to hear?
Yeah, it doesn't bring me relief. I'm very aware of the cycles of power and control that are happening right now since I've become, more educated about it, becoming a survivor. And, my abuser loved to do the bare minimum, too, after he abused me and deprived me of my basic necessities. The fact that it's temporary is ridiculous to me because that's continuing the mental anguish and torture and uncertainty for all of the Americans that rely on this. And not just the Americans that rely on this, but the businesses that rely on this. Especially in Maine and rural Maine, there are so many small country stores that take EBT and SNAP. I can't imagine what that's doing to their income. There's a lot of Maine farmers. We have an incredible program here using your SNAP benefits to get fresh produce at farmers markets. I can't imagine what that's doing to our local farmers. So unless it's a full-throated, fully funded, reinstatement of our rights to programs we've already paid into that we deserve to have to meet our basic needs, I think it's an arrogant and offensive attempt at anything.
Well, Hazel Willow, I can't tell you how important it is for people to hear real stories of people who are being impacted by this. And I thank you for your bravery and for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me, Chris. I appreciate it.